Hi, welcome back to the Pinkman Baseball YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look at 6 aspects of the pitching motion which we concentrate on consistently at our academy. We're going to be using the jcvideo.com motion analysis system, and we're going to really kind of break apart the pitching motion so that we can help players create a strong, healthy and consistent throwing motion from beginning to end. We concentrate on these aspects while we are working with kids from 7 to 72 years old at the academy, and it's something that over the last 20 years has been very effective and very efficient for all parties involved. Now, as we begin here, we're going to talk about our balance. And as we are starting out, we notice that although 3 of the players are in their stretch position and Roger Clemens down there at the bottom is in his windup, we take a look at the top left, Adam Warren. He's going to be playing with the New York Yankees this year. In his stretch position, his feet are spread nice and wide, shoulder width. His knees are bent. He's bent at the waist. Same thing with the high school student. Although his feet aren't spread as wide, he's got a good athletic position. Pitcher down here at the bottom right has played a pitcher with the Nationals some time ago. We see again pitcher his feet shoulder width apart and a good athletic posture to begin. Notice the hands are all roughly around the chest height, and they look like they're ready to begin throwing the baseball. Now as we come up, we get into our balance position. We see 3 out of the 4 players are getting that leg up almost at least chest high. Adam on the top left is actually throwing from the quick step. But from this balanced position, we see that that back leg is bent, that front knee again getting up chest high. The hands are still in a good position, chest height, as they begin their motion going towards home plate. As the leg begins to drop down, we see how there begins, they continue their balance, but then there begins a rhythm and a sequence that when the legs drop, the hands drop, and then as the leg goes out, the hands go out. Now granted, the pitcher on the bottom right, the Nationals pitcher, as he came out, his hands separated a little bit early. That's okay in some respects, but ultimately we want to try to keep the hands together for as long as possible until we get to about waist height. Then we begin to separate, and as we come out, take a look and notice how the front foot and that glove hand extend out at the same time. There's a nice rhythm and a good balance that all these pitchers are getting. So as they come out, everything's moving sequentially, rhythmically, in a synchronized movement. Next, we get to what we call our hip and shoulder separation. We see here, right before foot strike, we see those hips starting to open up and those shoulders stay closed. This is important so that players can develop the most amount of torque, they can develop the most amount of power throughout their bodies so that their belt buckle is starting to face home and their shoulders are closed off as their front foot hits the ground. Once their front foot hits, we get into what's called an equal and opposite position. The equal and opposite position basically means that we want to have our elbows up, shoulder height. The angle in our elbows should be symmetrical. We take a look at Adam in the top left right as his front foot hits the ground, and although we don't have the best angle between him and Roger Clemens, we see how the angles in his elbows are pretty identical, as are the pitcher with the Nationals. You can see here as he's starting to come out, you see how those elbows start to bend. They're pretty much even, and now as he lands, his elbow hits the ground and he gets into that strong, what we call flex T position here. The next is one of the most controversial topics of the modern day in terms of what to do with the glove hand. And at the academy, we generally tend to find that most players are taught to pull that glove hand in and drive it down to their hip or pull it into their chest versus keeping it firm as they tend to go to throw. Take a look at that all these pitchers, as they're going to throw the ball, every single one of them has their glove hand right out over their front foot. Their glove hand is firmly squeezed and swiveled out in front of their front foot. They're not pulling their glove hand down to their hip. We see that as their front foot hits the ground, the glove hand is out and extended over their front leg. And although with this high school pitcher in the top right, it appears that his glove hand is pulling into his body, the glove hand actually stays right out in front of him and his body moves towards the glove. One of the biggest issues that we find that we have with new pitchers who are coming into our program is they lack the control and they lack the ability to throw the ball hard, mainly because that glove hand is wandering. The glove hand either ends up off to the side, it ends up down at their hip, it ends up on their chest. Ideally, we want to keep the glove hand up in front of your chest about 8 to 12 or even 12 to 14 inches. You want to squeeze, swivel, and drive the glove hand towards your target, helping you direct the ball in the place where you want to actually throw it. Notice here that at release point, each one of these pitchers has a nice extension as they're coming through. We have a nice line going from ball to back leg, and although Adam's back leg has broken down a little bit, just like what we see Roger Clemens doing here, we can see how there's a good extension. Their nose is over their front foot, the ball is out in front of their front foot, and they've got a nice angle leaning towards home plate. After they release the ball, we find that each one of these pitchers is able to balance on that front leg taking their chest down and their back leg up, and it looks like as if they were asked to stop there and hold that position. They could. A lot of reasons why most pitchers don't throw the ball as straight as they could is because they don't get into this position. If you can end up with your head pointing towards home plate, over your front foot, balanced after you throw the ball, you're going to be able to throw the ball straighter. So that's the 6 aspects of throwing that we're going to concentrate on. If you have any questions, always feel free to email us at info@pinkman.us. You can also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/pinkmanbaseball.